So what did I think of Heated Rivalry? Hey, it's Brian. Welcome to the awards contender and whew. I just finished Heated Rivalry on HBO Max, which I've been hearing great things about the last few weeks. I just kept seeing things online, like, sharing certain things from the show that intrigued me, and I was like, what is this? And then I started reading the reviews, and I thought, okay, let me give this one a shot. I know many of you have wanted me to review Heated Rivalry, and I don't talk about television very much on this channel. Last year I reviewed Adolescence and The Pits because they were amazing. Most of my focus here is on film. Now in 2026, something I'd like to do a little bit more on the channel is talk about television. If I watch a show I really like, or even one I don't like so much, like review it here on the channel. We'll talk about it. It's called the awards contender, not the Oscars contender, right? Like I can talk about TV here and there if you guys want me to. Obviously, if the views aren't there, like I won't do it, but yeah, Heated Rivalry was that show I felt like I needed to talk about here, especially now having watched it in full and just really loving it, I mean, this is the kind of show that would have changed my life when I was growing up as a closeted gay kid. I did not come out until I was 22. So there were many years there, like in my high school years, where I knew I was gay, but I felt like I couldn't tell anybody, my family, my friends. I was hiding something that I knew was real, that was very important to me. But like I grew up in a different time, like in the early 2000s, like there was only one openly gay student at my school. Like from 2000 to 2003, there was one. So I didn't feel like I could come out and be accepted by everybody. So it was a hard time for me. It's still very fresh in my mind, those feelings of not being open, and something that Heated Rivalry gets exactly right are those moments when you feel deeply for another person but can't share it with the world. This captivating series about two rival hockey players, one is Canadian, one is Russian, and they immediately have a connection and attraction to each other. On the ice, they're rivals, but in the bedroom, they're anything but. And in those first two episodes that they're going to be very important to each other, that this is not just a hot fling like two younger guys being into each other. It's going to be a lot more than that, a lot deeper than that, and how the series explores their very complicated relationship, like over 9 years. This is not just a summer or a season, like it's almost a decade we spend with these two guys as they slowly fall in love. I should say, like, this is a spoiler review. I'm going to talk about the 6th episode, the final episode of this first season, because it's incredible. So yeah, I am going to spoil things here. If you haven't seen Heated Rivalry, come back, for my discussion. There's so many things Heated Rivalry gets right, but like at the core of it, the thing I really responded to was that fear, especially in Shane Hollander, the Canadian hockey player played by Hudson Williams, his fear for what he's feeling for this other guy, how he knows he's falling for him, but because of the sport he's in, because he can't be openly gay, I mean, this is like the late 2000s, early to mid 2010s, it would be a very big deal for him to come out and have a boyfriend, especially one who's also a professional hockey player on a rival team. It would make a great tabloid story at the time, but not everybody would have been accepting of that. So how the show navigates their relationship, how they have to keep it hidden from everybody, and how it just takes its toll over many years. Like all of that is riveting and authentic. It's so emotionally true. There's never a moment in the 6 episodes where I'm like, oh, like they're trying to do too much. It's too melodramatic. They're shoving in too much plot, too much contrivances, stuff like that. From a storytelling standpoint, it was very refreshing. At the beginning, I thought, oh, well, there's kind of a YA flavor to this. Is it going to be corny? Is it going to be entertaining, but not very realistic? Like, once we get to episode 3 and 4 especially, like, I could really relax and know I was in very good hands, that the series creator, writer, and director Jacob Tierney was going to take me on a journey that felt very familiar to the feelings I had when I was younger, before I was out of the closet, and that he was going to be true to these characters and not shove a bunch of crazy stuff into the plot where we're like, oh, come on, no. Tierney treats the audience with respect, with intelligence, and that was so great in watching Heated Rivalry. Now, many people will get into this show because of like the sexual nature of it. You know, it's very graphic, it's very hot and steamy. You know, some of the early scenes, I was like, whoa, you know, like, haven't seen a show like this for a while. It reminded me of when I stumbled upon Queer as Folk on Showtime when I was 16 years old. I think it was like 2001 that premiered on Showtime. And oh my god, you guys, watching the pilot episode of Queer as Folk as a closeted gay kid, I mean, that was quite something. And so I feel like a lot of gay kids who might not be out of the closet yet, who are going to discover Heated Rivalry, they are going to have a life-changing experience, because this show treats that central gay relationship with such beautiful writing, with such authenticity all the way through, especially in that final episode, which I was just so taken with. I, of course, really love the entire show, but that 6th episode is something of wonder, man. I was just like, I was in tears in that thing. Again, spoiler alert, I'm going to talk about the 6th and final episode, how Shane accidentally comes out to his father, like when he goes to the cottage and sees Ilia and Shane kissing outside, and he has to go to his parents' house and tell them he's gay. That scene could have been handled in like 10 different ways, probably 8 of them would have been terrible, and it just felt so true to me. Like it took me back to the nights I came out to my parents, that scene, and how they listened for the most part, and they were open to me, and they were accepting. Like how that scene plays out in Heated Rivalry was similar to my coming out moments. I didn't have a boyfriend next to me, like that was different in the show. But the kindness the parents gave Shane in that scene and a few scenes afterward, I was really taken with how the show ended, this first season at least. I think there's 2 more seasons to come, which I'm very excited about. You know, I went into this thinking it was a limited series, it was just one story. But knowing there's going to be a lot more exploration of their relationship in 2 more seasons, that makes me very excited. I was just so taken in the final half hour of this first season that we didn't have a moment of like Ilia has to go back to Russia and they haven't said I love you to each other yet. And there's Shane, like, you know, going 80 miles an hour, trying to get to the airport to tell him he loves him before he gets on that plane. I was nervous the show might head into a direction like that. I was so thrilled and relieved it doesn't. It just lets these characters be together in all of their bad times or good times, allow them to fall in love in a way that is real and relatable. That was great. The way Shane feels like he has to have a girlfriend, like go on dates with this girl, this movie star, like who can probably get anyone she wants, but she has the hots for Shane. She thinks he's great, and he tries to be with her, but outside of really good conversation, he knows deep down inside, like he is gay. He doesn't want to be with another woman. And that was relatable too. Like I had those experiences in high school, even early college. You know, I went on some dates with girls, I kissed girls, and I knew. I was like, this doesn't feel right. I think I'm into other guys. And Shane is in that same place. It takes him many years to find his true self. And that's the case for many gay men. It's not like all of us at 14, 15, 16, we're like, oh, I'm gay. And that's who I'm going to be every day, out and open. Some of us had a long journey to be the person we are. And that's what this show just does so beautifully all the way through. The way nothing is ever rushed, how we do spend 9 years with these characters as they grow and change and evolve and fall in love. Ilia, the Russian hockey player, is a fascinating character. He's more bisexual, he dates girls and guys, he's really into Shane. He too has a very long journey towards self-acceptance, realizing the person he loves is not another woman. It is this man who has been a part of his life for many, many years, and the complexities of his being Russian and his family life and going back home and really hiding his sexuality to everybody in his family and how hard that is for him. There is this absolutely stunning moment in episode 5, right? Episode 5, where he calls Shane from Russia, and he's really in a bad place, a dark place, and he's talking to him. He's almost on the verge of tears, and Shane says, "Let everything out in Russian. Say whatever you need to say to me. I won't know what you're saying, but do it. If it makes you feel better, just do it." And he talks for 3-4 minutes in Russian? He gets all of his frustration out, all of his anger, and the scene ends with him finally telling Shane he loves him, but in Russian, so Shane doesn't know, he doesn't hear that. But like the journey of that character, like the evolution of what Ilia goes through in this series is amazing. And where he is at the end versus where he was at the beginning, just kind of a playboy, he slept with girls and guys and, had absolutely no attachment, like emotionally, to anybody. Where that character is at the end of the show, I mean, it's an all-timer. It's incredible. And if the series Heated Rivalry was just about those two main characters all the way through for 6 episodes, it would have been amazing. But the show is deepened even more by concentrating on another couple for an episode. Episode 3, we go away from Ilia and Shane and focus on Scott and Kip. Scott is an American ice hockey player who's like a small part of the series outside of that one episode. But ultimately integral to this narrative, he is also closeted, secretly gay. He cannot come out, he feels like it'll ruin him if he tells the world he's gay. But boy, does he have a flirtation and an immediate attraction to this guy, Kip, a smoothie shop barista. He keeps going back to the smoothie shop, getting the same smoothie, because he's obviously into him. They strike up a relationship that gets very serious and intimate very quickly, but kind of like the other main storyline, it has to remain hidden. And Kip is not going to put up with this charade for many, many months. He loves this guy, he wants to be with him, but fully. Unfortunately, Scott can't make any promises, so we get a full episode about those two. It ends on a dour note, one of heartache, and you're like, okay, what's going to happen with those two? And oh my god, do they have an ending for the ages? The end of episode 5. They haven't been a big part of the series for the next 2 episodes. Like, I think we see Scott a little bit, but then Scott's team wins the whole thing. They win the championship, and here's a moment where he can stay hidden in his sexuality, just enjoy the win, but no, he is absolutely suffering inside. So he has Kip come out onto the ice and they share a kiss that the world gets to see. Oh my god. You guys weren't joking about how great episode 5 was, especially the end. I was cheering. I was like, yes, oh my gosh. And the way that moment informs the main storyline with Shane and Ilia and what happens to them in episode 6. I mean, I was crying so much. It was so beautifully done. This show is for everybody. I know it's not going to be an easy watch, like at your grandparents' house or at your parents' house, to watch this show with your mom. There's a lot of really hot, steamy, gay sex scenes in this, with nudity and, it might be too much for some, I guess, but it's authentic, right? Like this show wouldn't be as good if it didn't have the sex scenes. It wouldn't feel as realistic. If like every time Shane and Ilia got together, like they just started kissing a little bit and then they closed the door and that was like every intimate scene between them, this show wouldn't be as good as like a PG-13 show, like a YA version of this for teenagers. I wouldn't have really cared for it, honestly. The realistic depiction of two men in love over many years who have sex, who make jokes, who travel together, who slowly fall in love, that was all just very real to me. The explicit nature to the sexuality in the show is also what makes it great. I think you need that as well to have everything come across as authentic and true. I just loved everything about Heated Rivalry. I went in with high expectations, I thought it was going to be great, and it was even better than I expected. I love the performances of these actors. Hudson Williams as Shane, he's so vulnerable. He's so wonderful in this. Connor's story, I just found out a couple hours ago, he is not Russian. Like, he's a Texas boy. That's all fake for the show, like his accent, like how he speaks. And it's very realistic. I was like, wow, that's not actually how he sounds in real life. So that was quite something. He is on another level in this. And the chemistry between these two actors, oh my freaking God. Oh my God, the chemistry. I mean, I don't think I've seen chemistry like this in a film or a TV show in many, many months. It is very hot. I mean, when this show ended, I'm like, these aren't two actual gay actors, like, getting together behind the scenes. Like, their chemistry is off the charts. I mean, I've seen a lot of gay films and TV shows going back many years. This is one of the best. It's so entertaining. It's so romantic and emotional. It really does make you feel things toward the end. I mean, it really moved me, this show. I was really in a state in that final episode. I was crying a lot, and when we got to the coming out scene with the parents and how they reacted to him, I mean, this is an amazing show. It is absolutely a masterpiece. One of the best series I have seen in the last few years. And as a gay person, I am thankful. I am thankful for a show like this. I am thankful it exists. Not just for me, but for the younger generation, people who are still in the closets, whether they're 13 years old or 17 or whatever, they're going to discover this show and it's going to make things a little better, right? It's going to make things a little better for them. So yeah, again, this show would have been life-changing for me when I was in my teens, when I was closeted, when I was very much alone and I couldn't share my feelings with anybody. You have to turn sometimes to television, to movies, to find answers, to not feel so much alone. Heated Rivalry is that for me, and it's going to be for so many people for many years to come. I give this show a 10 out of 10.